final award this evening is the Excellence in Teaching Award, and this year's honoree certainly deserves that title. Russ Eshleman recently retired as the head of the Department of Journalism in the Bellisario College, where he also taught in-depth reporting, news media ethics, reporting methods, feature writing, and more. A West Virginia mountaineer by training, Russ is a true Penn State lion through practice. A former Pennsylvania State House bureau chief with the Philadelphia Inquirer, Tom brought that passion for journalism and instilled it in his students daily. His columns on Pennsylvania government were awarded first place in the Pennsylvania New Media Association's annual Keystone Press Awards in 2007, and we hope he has saved a spot for this award on his mantle as well. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming and recognizing Russ Eshleman.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you to the Alumni Society for this award. Thank you to Marie for inviting me back. As you heard, I retired in June, and people have asked me, what do you miss most? And of course you miss the people, but what I miss the most is standing before and talking for 75 minutes. So I thank you all for indulging. I'll try to keep it a little. I retired after 45 years. It's equally split pretty much between doing journalism and teaching journalism. As Marie mentioned, I came here in 1996 as a professional residence. At the time, the college had a program with the Inquirer, or Philadelphia Inquirer, where it worked, as well as Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. And a reporter and editor would come up for a semester and teach journalism and take some classes and stuff like that. And I remember I taught Com 260, which is our introductory course, but I took a fiction writing course and I took a racquetball course and enjoyed it immensely, but nevertheless had to get back to the real world. So I did that, and then a few years later, Ford Risley called. Ford was the head of the department at the time. He said, we have some openings, would you be interested in applying? So I really enjoyed my time here, but on the other hand, I thought I really loved my job. I had, while I started my career in the 70s, I covered the accident at 3 Mile Island. Through the 80s, I was covering things like Klan violence across the state. There were pockets where the Klan was breaking out. I covered the administrations of Tom Ridge and Bob Casey, and then Tom Ridge. And I really didn't know if I wanted to take that lead. But I thought, well, let's give it a try. So I did it, and I can report to you today that I don't regret it at all. I'm glad I did. And one of the reasons is because of people like Audrey Snyder. Audrey she may not even remember this, but I remember being in South Africa with Audrey in 2011. 2011? She's younger, she can remember numbers. It was a long time ago. It doesn't seem that long to me. One of the things we do on the international reporting trips is there's usually a dinner or some get-together where the students all have to be at one place at one time. And we were having a dinner that one evening with a traditional African dinner with dishes that I couldn't tell you what they were. They didn't have names, and we couldn't pronounce them anyway we did. Audrey was just, everybody was there but Audrey. 20 students, 3 or 4 faculty members, everybody but Audrey. Well, it turns out Audrey was reporting her story. She was doing a story about basketball in South Africa. And she was such a good reporter, such a good student, she didn't want to miss that. So she blew the dinner off, blew her professors off, and all to report that story. But that's the kind of students that really made me enjoy this job. I look around, I read a lot of newspapers in the state, and I read the Inquirer and names like Anna Urso, Aubrey Whalen, and Aaron McCarthy. I look in my hometown, I live in Lancaster, and former student named Carter Walker is now reporting in Lancaster. Carter has done excellent work on reporting how the far right has influenced elections in the state. And it's just incredible work. He's breaking all kinds of stories. And he is going to be gobbled up one of these days by a really major metro publication. It's just a matter of time and when he wants to go. And I think that's really what fulfilled me as an instructor, getting students like that who really were into reporting. You know, we do a lot in journals in class on writing and you know, somebody else was asking about what do you miss, and I said, well, I don't miss grading papers. And as my colleagues in this room, many of them, I appreciate they're here. I think one of the reasons so many colleagues are here is that they heard it was an open bar. But they all know what a trying task it is sometimes to grade students, because you know, you want to be positive, you want to push them and nudge them along in their career, but sometimes they need some work. But you know, that mechanical part of the job of teaching the journalism part, to me, is not the real fun part. The fun part is watching students really grab hold of journalism and realize how important it is, and sort of nudging them to respect the profession and sort of keep at it. So that's, you know, that's really what kept me in this for 20 plus years. Oh, so there's more. You know, I'm leaving it, I think, sort of a good time and a bad time. I'm leaving it a good time because I'm an old guy who learned about reporting news by carrying a notebook and a pencil. The last couple of years when I was in class, students didn't carry pens in class. They would take pictures of things on the screen. It was just beyond my capability why you would never come with a notebook and a pencil or a notebook and a pen. But anyway, so I'm thinking, you know, maybe it's sort of a good time for me to nudge out. The good part of that is, though, there's so many great pieces of technology that are now available to these students. The new Bellisario Center is just fantastic. You know, the technological capabilities, the staff that is there, the journalism faculty that is there is really doing some great things with these students already. I mean, and you know, the building is brand new, essentially, right? I think we're going to have more Audrey Snyders and Aubrey Whalens and Carter Walkers coming through. I mean, I think there's a good pipeline of those kinds of students. And now with all this new technology and this new facility available to them, they're even going to produce better work. So thank you, Kevin and the Alumni Society, for this award, and thank you all for contributing to Bellisario College.